Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat talk of the Crown episode. Now, what week are we on now? I have to always check. It's been so many. We are on week 39, I do believe. That is, wow, 39 weeks of my Talk of the Crown show. I don't know where you joined the show from, whether it was before Talk of the Crown or during, but welcome. And just to explain a little bit about the format, it's a weekly live chat show at 10 o'clock British time, that's GMT, every single Saturday. So, of course, you can search on Google to find out what time that is for you. And we talk about, of course, the British royal family, what's going on, any history questions. It's basically a chat led by you guys about what you want to talk about. I have a few notes written down just in case, but usually you guys are just so good at coming up with the best questions. Now, as always, this is a live chat, but if you're watching on catch up, you will be able to see the chat and the conversation, what's going on. So I'm going to go now and find the chat room. There's usually people here even before I get here. So let me change this to live chat and then we're good to go. Hello to everybody who is in the room so far. In fact, I think I can say some of the hellos today. We have Angelica and Kathy G and Southern Lady and Biz Burgess and Stephanie A. Dory, Carol Hayden, Vinnie Blair, Marianne Russell, Mrs. VSN09, Joanne Polonsky, Susan G, have I already said you? Jennifer Paget and Mrs. VSN09 says, love it. I have watched older ones to see the topics discussed. And in fact, this year, I do believe it is actually my fourth anniversary from the anniversary of my first video on YouTube. And I haven't been doing it like this for 4 years. My first video was roughly, I think it was in April, actually. I think I will check, but my anniversary, I think, is in April. And it will be 4 years from my first video on YouTube. I did my first video, which was about Princess Diana's apartment, which looking back is, I mean, I cringe. It's just not kind of what I would put out now in terms of how it's edited and all the rest of it. But it's an important video. Because it's my first and it's kind of like a baby and I'm really proud of it, even though it's kind of a little bit cringy and embarrassing. But in between the first video and the second video, I think there was about 6 months. I didn't really do anything. And then in between the second video and maybe the third or fourth, there was probably another, 4 or 5 month period before I started making weekly videos. So I haven't been doing it like this for 4 years. But anyway, my 4th year anniversary on YouTube is, I think, in April. I will have to check again. Scott Lauder says, hey, Elliot, you look dashing. Well, thank you so much. And yes, if you're watching, please give a big old thumbs up. It really does help. And please make sure you are, of course, subscribed to the channel. And you've hit the bell. In fact, I don't think the bell is working tonight because I do believe I am on time. And there doesn't seem to be quite the same people in the room. I'm wondering whether YouTube is sending out the notifications tonight in the chat. We will see as time goes on. So let's save some of the more important questions until more people get here. Vinnie Blair says, what do we think of Emily Andrews printing the 9-year-old picture and revealing the location of the Sussex's private home? Good question. That is a really pertinent good question. As you know, I put out a video as well showing those pictures, but I wasn't the original source of those pictures. It was indeed the article mentioned. And when something like that happens, you have to take the decision, a hard decision, about what you do, because it's already out there. It's not in my control to control what's out there. It was already there. It was already going to be all over social media, Instagrams, the Twitters, other newspapers, other YouTube channels. And you know what they do. They attach fake news, fake stories. They put spin on things. They put speculation on stories, and they try and hype things. And they don't really present it in a way that's at least educational and true. So I decided to take the decision to do it in my own way. And hopefully I made the right decision. It was a hard one. I wish I didn't have to. I wish that that had been kept private. I think all of my viewers are interested in it, but I wish personally that it hadn't been put out there. Then I wouldn't have had to have done it, because of course, at least I knew that what I was putting out there was at least true, factual information. But like I said in the video, security is very, very tight around there. I do believe the press is now talking about the Beckham's home, which is not too far away. It was raided. It did have criminal activity around it, but the royals, believe it or not, will be a lot more well protected than the Beckhams. 24-hour security. So I don't think we have to worry about that too much. So if you are concerned about that, I don't really think we need to be. Barbara says, no, the bell is not working. I thought it wasn't. And everyone's saying happy anniversary. Well, in April. We'll save the big one till April, but I just thought I'd mention that it's coming up. And yes, those photographs were really, really old. They were from 2012, I do believe, when the work had been carried out. And I think that they were actually obtained from the building and planning consents, which is in the public domain. CD Truth says, hello there. You are looking quite dapper. Well, thank you so much. Marianne wasn't notified either. And the first Mrs. R says, I've been subscribed for a while, and sadly I can count on one hand the number of times I've gotten a notification for your chat. I had to set an alarm on your phone. That's a good idea to do. But YouTube should be notifying you. If you've hit the bell, then you should be receiving a notification, at least, I think. Hello to Barbara. How's the tiara? By the way, I did try one on with this outfit, but it didn't look right. I don't know why. In fact, I tried my spiky Queen's wedding tiara on with the to match the spiky brooch, the star brooch, but it just didn't look right. Lady Buckingham didn't get one either. Oh no. Bentley 1530 says, I was waiting at your channel early and I did not get any notice of the live stream starting until I refreshed the page and I was already on. Oh no, it doesn't look like YouTube is notifying anybody of this chat. Maybe not even notifying anybody of my videos. I don't know. If you haven't been notified, I did do 2 videos yesterday on Prince Charles and one on Princess Anne on both of their engagements. Or should that be Prince Charles and Camilla? So we haven't really seen much of Camilla since a heavy cold, but we saw her. They are still in Scotland. They are at their home, Birkhall, which is on the Balmoral estate, and they were attending a local engagement, which was in Aberdeenshire, in a town called Braemar, which is very, very close to Balmoral. It's the nearest town to Balmoral is Braemar, and they were attending the renovations of the Fife Inn, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. So do go and check out that video. And Camilla looked really well too. So if you were worried or concerned about Camilla, don't be. She is fine. Kathy G says it's a conspiracy with a notification bell. I know I have modifications or notifications, but I had to reset it today. Yes, you could always try unbelling and then rebelling and see if it has an effect. Biz also didn't receive an email notification. Oh no. And Mrs. VSN just heard my voice and I just popped up. Scott Lauder says Meghan looked amazing at SmartWorks. She did, and she was playing the role of stylist because, of course, SmartWorks is one of the charities which Meghan has been working on behind the scenes. We now know it's one of those secret charities, or rather just low-key, as I like to say, low-key engagements that she's been working on. And she finally revealed the 4 charities of which she has become patron of. 2 were from the Queen. So I've seen lots of videos on YouTube getting it wrong, saying that, or kind of hinting or saying that the Queen has given all of them to Meghan. That's not the case. It is only 2 of them that have been given from the Queen. The other 2 are very much Meghan. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Meghan has a connection, certainly a relevance to the ones that she's taken on from the Queen. But the other two are kind of pure Meghan, which of course are Smartworks and the Mayhew. And the ones from the Queen, of course, were the National Theatre and the Commonwealth Association of Universities, which is I'm going to refer to as the ACU because that's a bit of a mouthful to keep referring to. So if you've been watching videos where it's been saying that all of them have been given from the Queen, that is wrong. It is only two. Oh, we have a donation from Barbara who says, thanks for everything. Love the tiara. You are more than welcome. You were the winner of the tiara. So you get a thumb clap. Thank you so much for entering by being one of my patrons on Patreon. And if you want to check that out to see if that's something that you would like to join, check the links below, and all of my links are there, including the PO box address as well. So do go and check them out. And if you want to win another tiara, which of course is the Cambridge Lovers Knot tiara, the one that Diana famously wore with the pearls that now Catherine wears to the state banquets or any kind of state occasion, which she alternates with the papyrus, but I'm not giving that one away. That one's mine. So if you want to have a chance to win that one, check out my Patreon. Links are below. Lots of people not being notified. Oh no. Christine found me at last. Okay, lots of people saying that basically the bell is not working. Like I said, try unbelling and then rebelling. Vinnie Blair says, I think Harry and Meghan deserve some privacy. They get enough of themselves. And you think it was the right thing to do to make a video? I think it was in the context that it was everywhere. If I hadn't done it, then at least I knew that what I was putting out was true to what we know. Mrs. VSN says, Meghan's fake belly rumours are heating up again. Each time she's out in public, Meghan is not wearing a fake belly. That is fake news about the fake belly. So it gets a black fan flap from me. Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous? Well, actually, I have. Lots of royal stories are very ridiculous these days, I have to say. Danielle says, you're looking very chic indeed. Thank you so much. Christine says, I'm so thrilled for Meghan's new patronages. I agree. I think they are four that really, really fit. And I think I'm going to predict that we're going to see more. I don't think like soon, but I think maybe we're going to see another round of reveals, shall we say. Loretta says, what I've learned is you have to double click the bell. If you hit the bell once, you are notified occasionally. If you double click the bell, you should get all notifications. I had the problem too. Well, there you go. Try double clicking on the bell. CD Truth says, it's very exciting that the Queen has continued confidence in the Duchess's abilities to take over some of her responsibilities. And that was another thing that I said was coming up, was that the Queen was going to have another round of kind of unburdening of her engagements. And that's certainly been happening. It's not been an avalanche of patronages which she's been kind of giving up. But I think rather than seeing one whole offload, I think we're going to be seeing a bit of a trickle, a bit of a subtle trickle, drip effect of charities being taken over by other royals. Mrs. VSN says, I'm so glad that the mini blunder by the National Theatre, which some are saying Meghan paid to have done, I don't think so, had on the website one day early. Yes, there was a blunder by the National Theatre's website. So whoever works in IT made a little bit of a blunder where they kind of put up the post that they were supposed to put up in the morning the night before, or rather the day before. And it kind of revealed, which is kind of what we already knew, that, well, rather that we were guessing, speculating that Meghan was going to take over the patronage of the National Theatre, which of course proved to be true and correct. But we got that little bit of a leak early. But I certainly don't think Meghan paid them to do it. Definitely not. Vinny Blaz says, what can one do about fools and conspiracy theorists? It takes all sorts to make up the world. The baby will come whether they accept it or not. It will indeed. Baby on its way. Hello to Rodney. And Verna says, you look fine without the tiara. Thank you. Christine says, Thomas Markle Jr. was arrested for DUI. Sad he was indeed. And I can't really comment any further on it because there's nothing more to be said. He was arrested for drunk driving. What can you say? There you go. That's what it is. It is what it is, what it is. Have I tried any of the Duchess of York's teas? No, because as far as I'm aware, they're not out yet. But as soon as they are, I will try and get my little mitts on them. G Mark says, good evening, Elliot and everyone. You look very handsome. Thank you so much. And I agree. Why would Meghan pay to preempt the palace announcement? It was going to come out anyway. And it was always going to be big news. Danielle says, could I do a video about male fashion? I have been kind of intending to do one about male fashion for a long time. So yes, that is something that I could look at doing. EAO says, Elliot, have people thought about how many people would have to be paid off by the Queen if the bump was fake? It's so ridiculous people can't think through these absurd rumours. I agree. And it's just people making up nonsense. It really is. Mrs. BSN says, it's amazing what you see on Twitter. There was a hashtag Megxit. Really? They are horrible. Yes, I agree. I think that is horrible. And I'm going to give Megxit a very big black fan flap from me. And a disapproving look. In fact, I'm going to give it a disapproving look through my glasses. Yes, to all that fake news out there. Scott says, is there any updates on Frogmore Cottage? No. And there isn't, I don't think, going to be any official announcements on it. We are not going to be privy to that kind of information. The only thing that was kind of unearthed was a little bit more of the planning applications this week, which didn't really give much away. It kind of just said what I already anticipated, and I said this before, is that it's a very complicated renovation. They're going to have to, it's more of a restoration than a kind of a building project, because the property was split into 5 different units, we believe, before it was grade 2 listed. Now, grade 2 listed kind of means you have to be incredibly sympathetic, and there are controls on what you can do, what you can't do to the building. It basically says it's a very historically important building to the UK and one that needs to be preserved. So a big part of the restoration will be returning it to what it was and using as many of the reclaimed materials, original materials and features as you possibly can. So any original features will be restored. If there are original windows, they will have to be restored. The original roof tiles are going to have to be kept. They may be cleaned. If there are broken ones, they may have to be replaced like for like. I imagine that the internal layout will have to be kind of returned to what it was before it was divided up. But they have been given the grace of having at least 2 new orangery extensions, which are sunrooms in the US. That's what I've learned. They're sunrooms. And of course, the renovation of the outbuildings, including the studio. So there isn't really anything new that we know, just kind of what's expected of renovating a listed building. And I'm still going to stick by the fact that I don't think the property will be ready for when baby Sussex is born. And I say that because in the original announcement statement, it said that they intended to be in by when the baby's born. But as with all old buildings, they throw up all kinds of different problems. And I think that has been pushed back now. So I don't think we're going to be seeing them in anytime soon before baby's born. I think they may have encountered some problems which have kind of pushed things back a little. However, not to worry, they do have their seclusion in their Cotswolds property, which of course is very secure. I know we've seen some old photographs of it from 2012, but it is still a very safe location with all of the protections afforded to a person of Harry and Meghan's rank, or persons of Harry and Meghan's rank. Let's have a look. Marianne says, these fake news are ridiculous. I saw one video that said William and Catherine were separating using old photos of when they were broken up in 2007. You have to look out for these things. Of course it's fake. And now a lot of these other fake channels are using like emotive thumbnails of like inquiring looks and, you know, old photos that are alluding to something that's not quite true, using the word engagement almost in like an engagement ring kind of way. I've seen all sorts this week. So beware. Okay, I did mention about upcoming royal engagements in, I think, my previous video. Rodney says, what did they do to celebrate Catherine's birthday? This made me laugh because one newspaper article I read was about how they know that Catherine celebrated her birthday, and it just made me laugh because they didn't know anything. There was no royal insider. They didn't know anything. It was, they basically just said what everybody pretty much probably around the world does on their birthday, and that is spend time with friends and family, possibly stay at home and have tea and cake. Who doesn't have a birthday cake? It was just pure speculation, posted and presented as fact. They didn't know anything. We do not know what Catherine did on her birthday. However, I can quite well imagine that cake and tea probably did feature, and also probably a quiet time at home with friends and family. So yes, nobody knows what they did, but you can probably have a pretty good guess at what they did. Gessie says, hello everyone, I joined late, you look great. It's a great pleasure to watch you. Well, thank you so much. I don't think people are getting their notifications this week. Vinny says, I feel badly for Prince Harry because the media is making up stories about Meghan being unhappy, but she looked very happy at her recent engagement. I wish I knew what was going through Prince Harry's mind right now. I don't think anything's going through his mind. It's all a media storm that's been going on with all the fake news. And that's why I called my last pop-up video Meghan's Triumph, because I think the announcement of all of the engagements kind of proved what she's been doing behind the scenes. It proved that woman wrong who did that article saying that Meghan had turned her back and didn't have a voice about women's rights. Totally shot her out of the water, which I said way back that Meghan would be doing things behind the scenes. I said that her new royal role is actually the biggest platform that Meghan has ever had, and that Meghan probably would ever have had. So now she is using it to further the causes that she wanted, and she proved that this week, which is why I said it was Meghan's triumph. And also I think the happiness on her face proves that there is nothing going on, there are no feuds, but still the rumours persist and still people talk about it. I don't know what more we can do. Thank you for people saying I look very dapper. Thank you so much. But I do think Prince Harry might be considering privacy. I think that might be going through his mind. Lady Buckingham says, I envision the Sussexes sitting in front of a fire looking up stuff on the internet and laughing. I don't even think they look up nonsense, because that's all it is. It's garbage, rubbish, trash. Loretta says, what is the feeling in the UK about the Markles? Do the people believe it's motivated by money, or do the people believe the Markle family is just trying to mend the family relationship? Basically, the Markles don't feature very much. Yes, if there's something goes on, it might make the papers, it might make online articles or YouTube videos, but in the real world in Britain, people are not particularly talking about the Markles. When people talk to me, obviously they know I work now with my YouTube channel. They will ask me what I think about all the fuss going on with all the fake news and whatever. but they do not mention the Markles directly, so they do not feature prominently in any UK life, I'm afraid. Jennifer says, could do a video on the history of Frogmore Cottage, focusing on the Abdul Karim, Queen Victoria's kind of, well, he was in the movie, wasn't he, about Victoria, and obviously him. So if you've seen the movie, you will kind of know a little bit about the personality of Abdul Karim, and the relationship, that kind of complex relationship, I think, between him and Queen Victoria. So yes, it would be something interesting to focus on. Lauren, nobody is getting notifications, literally. I think a lot of people will be watching on catch up tonight, which is a shame. I agree. I don't know why they can't let people be happy. Beverly says there are two Lovers Not Tiaras, the Cambridge, now owned by a German family, and Queen Mary's. The Cambridge tiara was in Mary's family, but not bequeathed to her. She loved it so much. Yes, there are two, very similar. And the one I think you're talking about is the one where it's kind of, instead of the diamonds on the top, it's got pearls. It's very, very similar, but it is slightly different. And yes, Queen Mary's one, the one that we have in the British royal family, is kind of like her replica of that one, with the pearls on. So yes, there are two, and I may have a replica of that one potentially to purchase. I've had my beady eye on it for a while. Sam says, you are right about the notifications. You did not receive one. No, people aren't receiving them tonight. I don't know why. It's such a shame. Thank you for all the comments on the outfit. Mrs. BSN says, I believe her future patronages will be in the same alignment as the first four solo ones. I don't know. We don't know literally what Meghan is cooking up. Do we? We really don't. We'll have to wait and see. Lots of people looking forward to Baby Sussex. Oh, I want to see the Mary Poppins film. Candice never receives any notifications from any channel? My goodness. Try unbelling and rebelling twice. BR says, can I confirm if Meghan is still going to be involved in the Grenfell kitchen? I see no reason why not. We haven't had any announcement either way, but I would imagine her association would be a long-standing one. I don't think you could work that closely on a project and then just dump it and say, that's done, moving on. No, I think, there will be follow-up visits. And I think the fact that she showed Harry around fairly recently, that it is going to be an ongoing connection. Who knows? She may be involved in other projects, maybe even more money-raising ideas that she might have for the kitchen. Maybe she might even be looking to expand the kitchen into other areas, maybe of London or around the country. I don't know. Who knows what Meghan is cooking up? But we certainly haven't had any announcements of that she's not going to do any work with them. EAO says, I love seeing the Duchess of Cambridge out and about again and love her new matching headband look. She's stunning. The headbands, they're becoming a craze. The headbands are getting more attention, I think, than Catherine. Yes, she is kind of wearing these rather fetching headband, kind of like a tiara. I kind of think of them more as like tiara hats. I love them, and she's looking rather glowing and lovely. Mrs. BSN says, yes, 151, and it's usually 400 plus. People are not being notified. Hello to Audrey from California. Have I seen the Sovereign show on YouTube? No, I have not. Sam says, I'm really interested in the tiara that I was talking about now. Yes, well, Queen Mary saw it and she loved it and she wanted one. She couldn't have that one, so she made her own. She copied it. Candice says, and yes, you look exceptionally dapper today. The star brooch really stands out on your jacket. It is a lovely one, I have to say. And of course, a replica of the Queen's. Good morning to Lillian Rose from Victoria, Australia. Okay, I have no idea why people are not getting my notifications. Scott says, Lady Colin Campbell is spreading fake news about Meghan. She's scary. Lady Colin Campbell did have a bit of a friendship, I think, with Diana, Princess of Wales, obviously before she was tragically killed. But I don't believe she has any particularly close associations since then. But maybe Lady Colin could correct me. Mrs. VSN says, what would be the tiara that you would like the Duchess of Sussex to wear for her first date dinner? Hoping there is one. Well, I do have a long-standing belief that I think the tiara she wore for her wedding, Queen Mary's diamond bandeau, I think has probably been given on long-term loan. And I do think that that tiara will work well with almost any kind of outfit. It will look good with kind of sleek dresses. It would look good with kind of flowing ball gowns. But as we know, Catherine has a choice of two. She kind of sometimes alternates between the papyrus or lotus flower tiara and, of course, the Cambridge Lovers Knot tiara. So I do think Meghan may have been possibly loaned another one. Of the ones that we know about, that we've been seeing in recent times, although there could still be loads locked away in the royal vault that we have not seen. That is still a possibility, that it could be a one that literally has not been seen for 80 years. Who knows? Who knows what they've got in the royal vaults? But of the ones that we know, what would I like to see? It's really hard, because there are certain ones that the Queen wears that are kind of, you just associate with the Queen. I would like to see something spiky. Maybe the Queen's wedding tiara, I think, would look very nice. Have I seen the Royal Family documentaries on Channel 5 app? I haven't looked what they are, but I may have seen them when they were on the telly or the TV. Mrs. BSN says, together is under the Royal Foundation per foundation site. Well, there you have it. Then associations and links will continue. Joanne says, are all the patronages for the Royals centred around London only? No, they are nationwide. Gessie has donated $20 using Super Chat. Thank you so much. You get a yellow fan flap. Thank you so much. All the donations do really help put back into the channel, and I really want to do some away days this year. I'd like to go to some different locations and either see some royal sites or some castles or some stately homes, and just bring you a little bit further afield British life. So all donations gratefully received will go towards that. So thank you so much. But no, I think what we basically see is, because the royals live in London, it's easier to do London-based or surrounding area engagements. But no, the patronages often cover often the whole country. Danielle says, the original tiara had pearls on top, which is what I said. The Duchess Catherine's jewels featured in the French Royal Point de Vue magazine this week. I haven't seen that. I will have to take a look. Lillian Rose says, tiara hats, great description. Well, it's kind of, yeah, I like to call them tiara hats. It's kind of a way of wearing a tiara, but being a little bit less formal. Yes, I know. Lots of people saying they haven't had notifications tonight. What are we up to now? 192. I think people are finally realizing that they haven't had a notification, and they're coming to look, and they're coming to find me. Lady Buckingham Dawn says, I can't wait to see Meghan at the next state event to see if she will wear that bandeau tiara or another. I am with you on that one. I can't wait either. But we're going to have to. Vinny Blair says, Queen Mary, another magpie, just like me. I would not like anyone copying my tiara, queen or not. Oh, well, we all know that I'm a bit of a niffler, don't we? A niffler from the Harry Potter spin-off. Yes, I think Queen Mary is another niffler. If she was a Harry Potter animal like me, Queen Mary and I would both be nifflers. We'd be like, you're not taking my tiara. Candice says, I was late in joining today, so please forgive me if my question has already been asked. Is there any news on the statue of Diana? No, the last we heard of it was that it had been commissioned, that they had chosen a sculptor, and that they were that they'd finalized a design, but we didn't know what the design was, and there's still no news on the progress of it or when it's going to be installed, when it's going to be revealed. But as soon as I do hear anything, I, of course, will let you know in a video or a pop-up chat. Sam says, Lady C researches her stuff before writing her books or doing her interviews. They are not always the popular stances that she presents of her subject. She has not been sued for lack of evidence. Well, the royal family doesn't, basically. So I don't think that's anything to kind of go by. A lot of her work has been criticised, I think we should probably say, in the past. However, I haven't read one. So I can't comment on them personally, but like I said, what I do know is that she was friends with Diana in the past, and I don't know what her associations with the royal family are now, so I don't really know what her kind of insider knowledge would be. And I can imagine that if she would be doing revealing books about the royal family, that people within that circle wouldn't be talking to her. So just basing on that, I'm kind of saying that I'm skeptical about the legitimacy of what she is writing. Let's put it that way. Jennifer says, when is the next tiara occasion? You know what? I'm not entirely sure. Well, it would be whenever the next state occasion would be. So whenever there's a next state visit, and I haven't looked in the court circular or the court diary to see when that next one is, but I must. Southern Lady says, if Lady Colin Campbell was close to Princess Diana, why would she say such negative things about the Duchess of Sussex? Given that Prince Harry loves her, it makes no sense. Your guess is as good as mine. First Mrs. R says, the nice thing about the tiara that Meghan wore to her wedding is that the big centre stone can be swapped out for a different stone, so you can change up the look. I don't know whether it can be swapped for different stones. I know it. I think it can be detached and worn as a brooch, but I'm not sure whether it can be swapped for a different stone. I'm not sure about that one, but it can be used as a brooch. Manuela says, I have read that Harry wants to give up his royal title for living a normal life. Rubbish. Penny Jr. has said this. Is there something true? No. Where's my fan flap? That gets a big fake news fan flap. Harry is not going to renounce any title for a normal life. Renouncing of this title would not give him a normal life anyway. There would still be intense interest in Harry. So no, that is totally not true. Lauren says, I have read the news that the house work has started. Yes, they are currently doing up Frogmore Cottage. Dawn says, I find Lady Colin is now very negative towards Diana. Her book, like I say, I haven't read the content of her work, but her early books about Diana, I don't think were too flattering. So I don't think it's just a recent thing. I think it's been right from the start. Book Princess says, Penny Jr. and Lady Colin Campbell never did say any positive about Diana. Well, there you go. And like I say, I haven't read the book. EAO says, I love the photos of Queen Mary dripping in diamonds and necklaces and pearl necklaces. Fantastic look. She carried it off so well. She wore everything. I mean, why wear one jewel when literally everything will do? From all the pearl chokers going down to all the dripping in diamonds, the stomachers, the tiaras, the brooches, everything, the rings, the bracelets. She was a magpie. She was a niffler. Sam says that Prince Harry would not follow Prince Edward's plight. He knows his duties and responsibilities. Prince Harry is not going anywhere. No, I still haven't watched the documentary about Meghan and Catherine. I know, I'm bad, but I have been incredibly busy. Dawn says, you are such a niffler. I am indeed. The first Mrs. R says, your channel is a royal channel. If you like jewellery, Peggy JB is the name of a great channel that covers royal jewellery from all over the world, and it is very accurate and respectful. I can't literally do everything. So yes, I'm sure there are so many other ways that you can find out about jewellery. Sorry if I'm now skipping a few. I agree. We will only know once they announce the unveiling of the statue. And yes, I can't wait for the next series of the Crown. Does anyone know the actual release date? Because I haven't heard it. Okay. Terry Young says, Lady Colin, if this is the example of a close friend, I wonder what the other royals look like. I agree, which is why I don't think there is a close connection with the royal family now. Diecat F says, you look quite handsome. Well, thank you so much. Alicia says, why does Lady Colin have a lady title? Because she married a Lord Colin. And when she got divorced, she kept the Lady Colin Campbell, because of course her name isn't Colin, but she kept the Lady Colin title. Okay, thank you for all the comments about the outfit, by the way. Laurie Clark says, oh my goodness, I'm late. It's been snowing since 6 this morning. I want snow too. And it's almost 6 in the evening here. I want some snow. Mrs. BSN says, 2 weekends ago, I caught the series Victoria on PBS and fell in love. I do love Victoria too. Alicia says, talking to Vinnie Blair, the documentary is based on rumours and have biased people talking against Meghan. And that's the one with Lady Colin in. Some people do stick up for her, though. I haven't seen it yet, so again, I can't comment on it. I kind of have a sense of what's going to be kind of truthful and biased and not, and then I kind of put things off that I really don't think are going to be very good. And I haven't watched that one yet. So I think my intuition has been quite good about it. CD True says, you can have all the snow outside. Send it over, blow it over. Hello to Moon Mom 713. Joanne says, who are the photos behind me? Well, of course, it's the Queen. And the other ones are my grandparents, who are now no longer with us. Marianne Russell says, love Victoria and The Crown, as do I. They are both incredibly, really good shows. Now, let's see if there were some things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, yes, William. We keep talking about Meghan and all her new patronages, but William got one too. It wasn't from the Queen, but it was one that was, I suppose, really close to his heart, which is, of course, the London Air Ambulance. William was, of course, an air ambulance rescue pilot for the East Anglia, and he has now become patron of their 30th anniversary campaign. So not of the whole charity, but of this particular campaign he has become patron of. And we saw him out and about on Catherine's 37th birthday. Hurrah! It was Catherine's 37th birthday this week. And those are the people who were going, he's going on an engagement on Catherine's birthday. It was no big deal. The engagement only lasted for around an hour. And I believe it was in the morning. So he got that one done, out of the way, and then returned back home to spend time with Catherine and the children for her birthday. So it was no big deal, I have to say. Yes, and for those of you who have just joined us, we did also speak about Charles and Camilla. Camilla has been seen, obviously for the first time since her heavy cold, and she was out and about at the the reopening of the Fife Inn, which is very, very close to Balmoral, in the closest town to Balmoral called Braemar, and of course the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall are known as the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay when in Scotland. So don't be confused if you've been looking at or hearing the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay. It just means Charles and Camilla when they are in Scotland. Those are their official Scottish titles when in Scotland. They are, of course, staying at their home Burke Hall, which is on the Balmoral estate. The first Mrs. R says, what do I think about James Middleton making parts of his Instagram public? I think it was very brave of him to discuss his depression. He looks like a lot of fun. Well, apparently this Instagram account has been publicly viewable for many, many years. It's just not many people have kind of cottoned onto it. I think he has about 5,000 followers, but it's just a very kind of little known account, I suppose, really, and he has posted some really lovely photographs about his life. Cast your minds back to, I think, when Catherine was speaking about depression, and she said, I can't even remember what event it was, but I remember her specifically saying that she had encountered depression in her family, not herself directly in the way that kind of William has and Harry has, but she said that she can relate to mental health issues because of issues within her family. I'm sure she used words to that effect. Now we know, of course, the issues in her family were her brother, who has suffered depression. He was also publicly dyslexic to begin with, but also he's come out and said that he has ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, which obviously disrupted his learning. It is a learning disability. Not in the way that, you know, it affects your intelligence levels, but it just makes things harder. If you've got attention deficit disorder, you're kind of, well, he said in the interview that he kind of rushes through things, wasn't completing tasks, and he didn't know why. And that kind of, you know, made him depressed. He wasn't sleeping. And of course, it carries on into your adult life. But he also said that it gives him really, really good creativity and has helped him in that sense. He does have medication, but I don't think he takes it all the time. I think he only takes it when he feels like he really needs to. I don't know whether that's a wise thing to do. Perhaps you should be taking the medication all the time, but he's an adult. He knows what's right for him. So there we go. Yes, he opened up and basically said everything, and now we know about his Instagram account, which is very, very good. I love to see pictures of James. Right, I'm just clipping through a few. Mrs. BSN says, is there a number of patronages that is expected of working royals, and what the Cambridges will be expected to have by the time William becomes Prince of Wales? No, there is no set out rules on how many you have. However, the Queen, as Queen, is patron of round about 600 charities. So William will possibly have round about that, perhaps, when he becomes king, but certainly not. There is no set written down rule on how many you have to have. Biz Burgess says, I loved seeing Prince William flying the chopper. Of course, and I'm sure he must have felt really, really glad to be back behind the pilot's, what do you call it? It's not a wheel. The pilot's control, I'm going to call it. Joystick. It's not a joystick, is it? I'm terrible. But I have been up in a helicopter, and I actually flew around New York in a helicopter, and it was one of the most incredible experiences to see. And it kind of glides. It's not jerky. It's kind of like a really soft gliding motion. Very, very good. Nada thinks Meghan is having twins. I'm not so sure about that. I think one baby, but any more will be a bonus. Wexter official says, I once went to Trooping the Colour and it was amazing. You were only a young strum when I went, but it was a good laugh. I bet it was. Brakel says, I really hope you meet a royal one of these days. Me too. I would love you to interview a royal. That would be fantastic. Who would you like to interview? There are a few that I would like to interview. Well, not interview. I don't think I'd like to do... I think I'm blurry. Hang on. Focus. I don't think I'd like to do an interview where you kind of sit down with people and you ask questions. I think if I did it, I'd like to kind of spend a day in the life of such and such, because I think that's more interesting. It's more relaxed. I wouldn't have a whole list of questions written down. I just want to experience a day in the life of that royal. You know, I'm sure people would like to see, for example, what's in their fridge. I'd say, let's go and take a look in your fridge. I'd like to see in their wardrobe. I'd like to see their tiaras. I'd like to see their garden, and I'd like to sit down on their bed and have a little natter with some tea and cake, maybe. So if I did an interview with a royal, it would be an informal one, and it would be fun. It would be, I'd like to spend a day with them and just have a chat and just see organically where things go. That would be really, really good. Who would I like? I mean, of course, the obvious, Harry and Meghan, William, Catherine. But I think I would really like Charles and Camilla. I think they seem so much fun, and I would love to see behind the scenes with Charles and Camilla, because I bet they have a rip-roaring time. Also, I think Princess Michael of Kent, I think, would be very interesting. Of course, the Queen. Who wouldn't say the Queen? I'm also going to say, I'm going to leave it there. There are a few others that I would like to say. You know who you are. You may even be watching. Joanne Horn says, why does Princess Michael have her husband's name? It's because he didn't have a dukedom title, because he was Prince Michael. Okay, it's easier to liken it to this. If Prince Harry hadn't been given a dukedom on his marriage, on his wedding day, Meghan would be known as the Princess Henry of Wales. And it's the very same way for Prince Michael. Prince Michael wasn't given a dukedom. His elder brother got the dukedom of Kent, of course. So being the younger brother, Prince Michael didn't get a dukedom, and so his wife takes on his style and status and name and becomes the princess, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Michael of Kent. Of course, her real name isn't Michael, but that's the title that you go by. You go by your husband's title, which is still very outdated, but that's the way it still goes on. Bev M says, it was funny seeing William flying the helicopter with his helmet and suit instead of flight suit. It was, but I'm sure he thoroughly enjoyed it. We don't know when Meghan's going to wear a tiara again at the next state banquet, if she's going to go to it. That is. I love all the news about her patronages too. Jones says, will Meghan and Harry have a nanny when baby arrives? I would have thought so. Yes, I would have thought so. Particularly when, of course, Meghan and Harry go back to, well, Meghan in particular goes back after her maternity leave, which I think will probably be round about September time when she goes back, maybe a little bit into September, but I think she'll be ready by September to return. And of course, she is going to need the additional help by then. Sudi16 says, I am a follower of the Sussexes. Love them dearly. No fake news can let me not follow them. Keep up the good work on your reporting. I will indeed. Thank you so, so much. Oh, Joan says, you've just received Meghan and Harry's wedding porcelain dolls. They are spot on. I need to look for those. Yes, please help me reach 100,000 subscribers. Thank you to Scott. David says, for the royal truth, follow royal reviewer. And EAO says, Doria will not be the nanny, she'll be a grandmother. I agree. Doria is not going to be a glorified nanny. She will be the grandmother. Do I think Meghan will have a boy or a girl? One thing we do know, it will be a child. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. I'm just hoping for a healthy baby. But yes, I agree. When Doria does come to visit, I'm sure she will help do what normal grandmothers do. Laurie Clark says, do charities fill out an application or write a letter to the royals asking them to give their programme a chance? Well, the royals can kind of stumble across charities themselves. They may be long-standing charities which may be well known, which may attract the interest, or they may choose to write to the royals and offer them a chance to become a royal patron. And I think all applications that come in must be presented to the royals for consideration. Oliver Kirkham says, hello, Royal Reviewer. You are my favourite YouTuber. Oh, that's so sweet. And I would love to hear you call out my friend, Jack. Is it Mehoff? Jack Mehoff. Oh, you are so rude. I can't believe I fell for that. You get a big black fan flap. And a very disapproving look. I can't believe I fell for that. You are so bad. And I was being nice as well. Joan says, I sound so smart when my friends ask me about my favourite royals. Thanks to you, I get all the current info. Cheers. You are more than welcome. First Mrs. R says, with ADD, you either have hyperfixate on some things or you jump from one thing to the thing. I think James has the jumping from thing to thing. And yes, it's normal for adults with ADD to not take medication every day and only when they need it. Well, there you go. Paula Quate finally caught me live. Again, I don't think people are getting notifications today. But welcome. Joan says, you live in New York. If I'm visiting again, let's meet for tea. If ever I visited, I would like to do a meet and greet. But I don't know when I'm going to visit. But thank you. Mrs. BSN says, you received your 2019 Harry and Meghan calendar. My nan still has one. It's still in the wrapping. Oh, I have one as well. On the fireplace, along with the Together cookbook and CDs from the cellist and choir. Pansy says, it's wonderful to watch you. So very much enjoy your videos. Thank you so much. You are my go-to source for accurate, insightful, courteous and kind news of the royals. Well, thank you so much. Joyce says, Meghan will get any backlash from the press if she works right up to the birth. I would think they would like to see her take some childcare classes. Well, in the UK, we don't really have childcare classes as such, but new moms, new first-time moms do attend sessions, I think you can call them, where it kind of is a little bit of a class, where you kind of learn about breathing and childcare and all the rest of it. So she may go along to some of those. Who knows? Joan says, what hospital will Meghan deliver in? Again, it depends where she is. I don't believe she'll be in Windsor at the time. So that, to me, only leaves the option of the Lindo wing. But it is unconfirmed at present. Chelsea says, I think Princess Anne would be fun to chat with and to see her refrigerator. I would definitely head for the refrigerator and possibly try out some things in the said refrigerator. Lots of people speculating on whether the baby will be boy or girl. Again, Maya J, I don't know all of Philip's charities where they've gone to. It may even be that some of them have lost a royal patron until they pick up a new one, if they ever do. Joan says the porcelain dolls are by Ashton Drake Galleries. There you go. Top tip. Don't worry, Dawn. I didn't see it either. It fooled me. Lots of people laughing at that. It was kind of funny, but rude and wrong. Raybix mom says, I hope Harry and Meghan have a girl, so Princess Charlotte has a girlfriend to play with. That would be nice. Ricky Field says, you look so great. Thank you so much. Lots of comments on the outfit tonight. Do you know when there will be another event that might require a tiara? Likely to be a state occasion, so that would be the next state visit from a foreign country. But I haven't looked, so I don't know when that's going to be. There are usually 2 a year. So I'm not sure when the next one is. I'll have to check it out. Maybe someone could Google very quickly. And thank you for blocking Oliver. June says, after the birth, Meghan needs to rest. She does indeed, but she'll probably shorten her maternity leave. You can't see her laying around for 6 months. Yes, I can't see her. Well, I think she'll be working behind the scenes on new projects. Lauren says, will there be press waiting for the baby to leave the hospitals like with baby Cambridge's? I think so. I know lots of people, I said it before in my previous video, I think lots of people don't want the baby parade, such as when Catherine or Diana stood outside with the baby for all to see. However, it does serve one very important purpose, and that is to satisfy the press and take, so I know I'm being really blurry, and it takes the bounty, the financial bounty off the baby's head. Imagine if they didn't and they just got whisked away. There would be so much press attention, and a first picture of the baby would be worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds to a photographer. So to take that pressure off by having the baby parade, so to speak, it eases that off. It eases the media attention because it's all done and out of the way very, very quickly. Yes, it's intrusive. Yes, it's very hard on mother and baby, mother in particular. I mean, Catherine is an expert. She comes out looking glamorous, hair, makeup, outfit. She's a pro at it. I mean, I don't think anyone does it quite as good as Catherine. And of course, Diana before. But Catherine is pretty much an expert at it now. And I expect Meghan will follow suit, literally just to take that bounty off the baby's head, and it will make everything more relaxed for when they go home to kind of settle down and be a family unit, and be a new mum and a new dad, of course. So it does serve that purpose at least. So whether you're for the baby parade or against it, do at least reflect and know that it does take pressure off in the long run. Yes, I know the notification's not been working. Would I ever do a meet and greet in London? If ever I go. Oh yes, I would love a royal cruise. Definitely. I'd love to do a group cruise. I've never done a cruise, but I would love to do a group cruise. Kathy G says, in America, mothers usually only take a 3-month maternity leave. Oh, it's up to 6 here. We don't rush back to work, which I think is how it should be. I mean, 3 months is quite tough to kind of get over everything and then back to work. 6 months is what we kind of have in the UK on average. You can take longer, but I think your wages reduce incrementally if you do take longer. But I think 6 months is the typical. And that can, of course, be shared by the males and the females. So if you wanted the male to have the maternity or part of the maternity, you can switch either or. And I agreed with Lillian Rose. Everyone approaches maternity leave in their own way. I should do a live outside the Lindo wing. Oh, an outside the Lindo song. I should. We could. Why are we waiting? We could do that song. Okay, I'm just kind of skipping a few. Sorry if I've skipped all of them. People wanting Meghan to deliver on the Queen's birthday. Who knows? I believe it will be April. But again, babies come when babies come. How are we doing for time? We're at 11 o'clock in the UK. Conti Kent says, in the past, Kate's due month was mentioned, but they only say springtime for Meghan. Zara's month was mentioned. Again, it depends. Spring is quite a big spectrum. I think it covers about 3 months. But like I say, we did see the birthstone ring with the diamond in the middle, which kind of indicates April. So we will have to just, baby will come when baby comes. Beverly says, will Edward become the Warden of Windsor Park when he takes the Duke of Edinburgh's title? Well, it's not connected to the title, so it won't be automatic. If he does, it will be because he's taken it on rather than it will have been inherited. So again, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. Like I say, that is not attached to the title. Joanne says, no fair. The Scandinavian royals seem to always have tiara occasions. I think what's happened in the UK is that it's become, I suppose, a show of wealth to wear a tiara, unless it's an incredibly important state occasion. So I think in a kind of a way, in a nod to kind of seem more relatable, seem more normal, they don't wear them as much. They used to. I mean, I'm sure I've seen Diana wear one to a film premiere before, but now it's kind of not the done thing. They don't also, unless you're the Queen, they kind of don't tend to take them on foreign tours as much. I don't think we've ever seen Catherine take one on a foreign tour. It's probably going to be the same with Meghan. Camilla, I think, has possibly, but the younger royals, it's kind of not been a thing to do, and I think it's in a way to kind of make them seem more relatable, more normal, and less ostentatious. And I think that move has kind of happened since the credit crunch back in 2008. I think we've seen a bit of a stepping back of royal displays of wealth, and I think that's probably what the cause is. Where can a card or gift be sent for baby Sussex? Just address it to Kensington Palace, London. The postcode will be Googleable, and it will get there. Or just Buckingham Palace. Yes, I do believe that Sarah, Duchess of York, did have a baby parade. I'm sure I remember her standing there with a bundle of baby. How is the weather in July in the UK? You're thinking about visiting London at the end of July. Well, British summers can be wet, but they can also be dry. Last summer was really good, so it could be hot and sunny. It's the best chance of being hot and sunny. Candice Bavaria says, it is the law in the UK for companies to provide paid maternity. It is indeed, unless it is a zero contract firm. That is indeed correct. Yes, Vinny, you are correct. Including the Commonwealth Christmas reception at Buckingham Palace in December and state dinners for tiara occasions. Sarah's teas and reed diffusers are not out yet. When they are, I will hopefully be getting some to review. How are we doing for views now? 288. People have not been notified tonight. Okay, just C-Mac says, I didn't need childcare classes either. Now, I do have a few horror stories about my daughter, but she is still alive. Cheeky. Queen's birthday is April the 21st. although she has 2 birthdays, but the real one is in April. The summer one is for Trooping the Colour because the weather's likely to be better, so that's why the Queen has 2 birthdays. Did I have a hot date? No, this is normal. Yes, you can also send mail to Clarence House as well. Either Kensington Palace, Buckingham Palace, or Clarence House, it will get there. Okay. Nappendale 77 says, I think your last monarch is Queen Elizabeth. Yes, our current monarch is Queen Elizabeth. I'm not quite sure I'm understanding your question, but we did have a Queen Elizabeth I, which was back in the 1500s, which is another famous Queen Elizabeth. I am not trying that tongue twister, Wexter. I have wizened up to these tongue twisters. I am not trying that one. DD says, Floss and Rog Payne. I think Zara and Mike would be excellent working royals. They would, but like I said, I think Zara is enjoying the freedom. They are currently out for the Magic Millions horse trials. Not horse trials. Is it polo? The Magic Millions? They're out in Australia anyway, attending that annual event. And I do believe she receives some kind of sponsorship payment for that, which she wouldn't receive if she was a working royal. EAO says, I think we should campaign to bring back tiara wearing at least twice a week. Well, my motto is, it's always a tiara occasion. Thank you to Rowan for posting the Clarence House postcode. Lauren says, how's Rory and Molly? You will see in the vlog. So yes, my weekly vlog, I should mention, is going to be posted tomorrow, which is actually 12 a.m. UK time, but it's basically Sunday, kind of like, well, it's Monday in the UK, 12 a.m. So let's say 25 hours time, then you can work it out. In 25 hours time, my weekly vlog will be premiered. So please join me for that, because it looks like YouTube are not sending out notifications. So once I upload the video, find it and set the reminder on it. Marcella says, I am looking forward to the birth of baby Sussex. I am hoping that we are all fooled by the date and the baby comes in early May. And the 3rd, to be precise. You would be ecstatic if they were twin girls. I would hope that, well, I certainly don't disagree with any of those predictions. Who knows? We will have to wait and see. C-Mac says, I look very handsome today. Thank you so much. You're going to make me blush. B2K, oh no. Your friend Brad broke the microwave with his microwave pizzas. My goodness. CA Levy says, your live stream is already great, but it's going to be so cool to hear your commentary during Charles's coronation too soon. We never know when it's going to be. But I know people like to speak about what's coming next. I think it's only natural to kind of cast an eye to what's coming. I mean, if the Queen, there's no reason why the Queen can't carry on. And in terms of life expectancy, if we want to be really honest, she could surpass her mother. So I don't think anytime soon. Do I think baby is twins? No, I think one baby. And yes, Harry did say he'd like a baby girl. And we don't know in terms of titles whether or not a firstborn female may inherit the dukedom of Sussex. The rules could be changed for that title. However, I don't think in the creation of the title it was written in that is the case. But then again, it hasn't been publicised. So who knows? We will have to wait and see. I'm sure that issue would be addressed as and when a firstborn daughter may come. Do I get snow ever? We had it twice last year. I mean, when I say twice, I mean 2 really good kind of disruptive levels of snow. I only class it as snow really if it's disruptive, if it stops things. And we had 2 of those last year, so I was really happy. Marcelia says, can I borrow Rory and Molly? They're currently engaged. Sam says Prince Harry said he'd like a baby girl for Meghan. He did say that, and again, he's going to have to get what he gets. You can't pick and choose. Karen says, I hope it's a girl. Raquel says, I agreed at first. I felt so bad for Elliot, but his reaction was absolutely adorable. You can't script moments like that. You can't indeed. It is what it is. Will they televise the coronation? Yes, most definitely. And yes, Paula, you are quite correct. Once Charles becomes king, Meghan and Harry's children will become princes and princesses and HRHs, unless the Queen steps in and does it earlier. Finny Blair says, some people see tiara wearing as out of touch. They do indeed. I don't agree, by the way. And yes, it would be the same thing as what they said about the gold piano and the Queen's Christmas speech. I agree with you. I would love to see more tiaras. We need to start a campaign. Hashtag more tiaras. Or hashtag it's always a tiara occasion. B2K says, what are your thoughts on the Queen's favourite dish? I soon want to be a cook and would love to know. I would love to try it. Maybe it's mac and cheese. I don't think it's mac and cheese. She likes plain, simple food, actually. From some of the things that I've read from the mouths of royal chefs, we know she doesn't like garlic or anything of that nature, or shellfish, I think was the one, in particular when she's working, because it could make you ill, and the smell of garlic or spicy food could transfer in the air to other people's nostrils. So she's not too fond of that, but she does like kind of plain, simple food. Meat, vegetables. I mean, don't get me wrong, still cooked beautifully by expert chefs, but still quite simple food is what the Queen likes. I'm not entirely sure on favourite dish, but what we do know is simple food. She likes simple food. And the Queen doesn't necessarily, she's not a foodie, as we say in the UK. She kind of sees food as a thing that you need to do to live and survive. She likes food, but she's not like passionate about food. I'm blurry again. Hang on, focus. You could say that Meghan is very passionate about food. I don't think the Queen sees it quite the same way. So just plain and simple food. H.A. Bracken, I don't think anybody has had notifications of the chat tonight. There is no divorce between Charles and Camilla. It is gossip and fake news. It gets a fan flap from me. Do I have other cats? No, just Molly and Rory, but they do go outside. I'm not sure what the bookies are saying, Janet, about what are the favourite names so far. But I'm thinking probably Elizabeth or Philip, maybe on the cards. Lily says, how old am I? 35. Paula says, I'd rather see more tiaras than those strange hats they have to wear. I agree. More tiaras, please. Joan says, look up the Bradford Exchange. You can buy all the royal jewellery as well. Very good quality. I haven't ever heard of that. I must look. Let me get a screenshot so that I can look that up later. Alicia says, if you live in the Commonwealth, in a Commonwealth country, does it make you a member of the Commonwealth? Technically, yes. You can say you are a citizen, a Commonwealth citizen. Okay, Alicia, interesting question. What do Princes William and Harry call Prince Philip? I understand they call the Queen Granny. Yes, I do believe it is Granny. We haven't actually heard anything what they call Philip. Have you heard anything? If you've heard anything, let me know. But I haven't actually heard what they call Philip. I imagine if they call the Queen Granny, then perhaps he's Gramps, Grandad. I agree, Karen. I do not know why they got so upset over the Queen's golden piano. What was she supposed to have? A mop and bucket? I agree. I think I likened it to having IKEA shelves. Would they rather she sat in front of a load of IKEA shelving? What do they expect? She lives in a palace. Do I think William will be the godfather of baby Sussex? No, because Harry wasn't godfather of any of William's children, and I think it's because they have big roles in their children's lives anyway. As uncle, the uncle role is a big all-encompassing role. So I think it's a way of recognizing other friends as well. So no, I don't think he will in the same way that Harry hasn't. But it's no diss. It's no putting down on William or Harry. It's just that they are going to have a big role anyway. Countess Bavaria says the BBC Sounds has a radio programme called Private Passions, featuring Prince Charles's favourite music. I haven't listened to it. You should be listening to it tonight. That's just for my information and everyone else's. Well, there you go. Go and have a look at, what was it called? Private Passions. People laughing at the mop and bucket. I agree. Alicia says, what do you suppose is carried in the purses of the Duchesses? Do you think they carry credit cards and money? Well, when we saw the photographs of Catherine popping into the shop before Christmas, she must have had money. So I imagine that bag had money. Probably not so much on the royal engagements, though. Artist Victoria is calling for Tiara Tuesdays and Thursdays. Good idea. I don't think William has ignored Meghan, to be quite honest. And the Queen didn't give Meghan 4 patronages, she gave 2. I think you've been reading or listening or looking at too many fake news channels. A lot of the fake news channels have got it wrong. The Queen did not give Meghan 4 charities. The Queen kind of passed on 2, which was the Association for Commonwealth Universities, the ACU, and the National Theatre. The other 2, the Mayhew and SmartWorks, were ones that haven't had a previous royal patron. They are all Meghan. Lily Lamour says, I thought you were 26. You're looking so young. Well, thank you so much. The Botox is working. No, I haven't had Botox. Yes, Philip could possibly be Grandpa or Gramps. Pa is another good one. Actually, Dragon says, I heard usually refer to Philip as grandfather. She may have said my grandfather. Whether she calls him grandfather, I don't know. Okay, I need to check out this Bradford exchange. Stephanie says, I heard Harry call him Pop. Maybe the individual royals have different names for him. C.A. Levy says, perhaps the Van Straubenzes may make good godparents. I agree. That is another really good choice. In fact, actually, one of Harry's closest friends is Guy Pelly. So I'm predicting perhaps Guy Pelly. but definitely perhaps one of the Van Straubenzes as well. Magnus says, do you know why the Queen and Philip weren't present at Louis' christening? We believe at the time the Queen had been incredibly busy. There had been a lot going on, and we believe it was because she wanted a rest, to be quite honest. I remember speaking about it at the time, and it was because so much had been happening. I think it was round about the time of the Trump's visit as well. Joan says, I thought you were in your 20s as well. No, 35, darling. Going on 40. 36 this year. And I will be needing the Botox. Possibly Eugenie and Beatrice could be godparents, maybe. Oh, the Mulroneys, yes. Meghan may want the Mulroneys. The J's tier says, so patronages aren't necessarily passed down. No, they can have their own. They can create new ones. They can pick and choose. But as we know, the Queen, we think, is kind of drip feeding some of the patronages down. She may even give some up that don't take on a royal patron. Some of them she may give up and they may not have a royal patron. Some, if they're a good fit, may be passed down or rather taken on by another member of the family. But they aren't like inherited type thing. Some lady says, you look very young. Well, thank you. It's the good Shropshire air. Rabek's mom says, I just looked at the Queen at 90 programme documentary, and William refers to Philip as grandpa. There you go. I said grandpa, didn't I? I did, didn't I? I said it. I'm sure I did. I'm sure that was my first choice. You see, sometimes you should always trust your intuition. Rodney thinks the Clooneys. Who knows? Oprah. Well, who wouldn't want Oprah as a godparent? Karen says, what? You look so young. Must have good genes. I also thought you were in your 20s. Well, thank you. Jennifer says, what? No way you're going to be 36. Keep doing whatever you're doing. In my weekly vlog, not this week, maybe next week, I may do a my morning routine, nighttime routine, products which I use every day. And there are some which I have used since I was 11 every day. So you could attribute it to that. Who knows? If you want to see that, give me a thumbs up or let me know in the comments. EAO says, Oprah. Who wouldn't want Oprah? And Alicia says, yes, the Clooneys. No, godparents don't have to be C of E. I don't think so. I don't think they do. Laurie Clark asked the same question too. I don't believe they do. Or maybe they do. To be honest, I'm not sure about that one. I will have to check that one out. Is Shropshire in Manchester? No. We're kind of close to the Welsh border. Karen says, yes, let us in on your secret. And Kat Harlem says, please do a video on what will happen to the crown if William's kids pass while he's on the throne, or if George takes the throne but never has kids. Well, it all just goes up the line and then goes to the next branch, is the answer in a nutshell. So then the next up the branch, I suppose, if all of the children remain childless, would be back down Harry's line. Brooke says, you do look 36. Or is that do or don't? Most people who are 36 look older than they are. I don't know why the media likes to create divisions, because it sells papers and makes money. Where exactly is Shropshire? Think of it in the middle of the country towards the Welsh side. Lou Guy says, I think British skin is lovely due to being near the ocean. Or maybe I'm just an English rose, like Diana. B2K says, I'm not sure if that's a decor or a spider. Do you mean this? It's decor, darling. Joan says, yes, please, your product routine. I want your foundation review. There is one moisturizer which I have been using twice daily since I was 11. Seriously. Maybe it's that. Jimmy says, President Obama for Godfather. My goodness, can you imagine? Okay, I'm going to leave it here for tonight. Do join me tomorrow for my live premiere of my weekly vlog. Also, I invite you to check out the description box of this video. There are lots and lots of different links to check out. So I'm not going to say what they are. It'll take too long, but just go and check them out and see if there's any that you like, or there may be some you want to be part of. So do go and check them out at your leisure. Thank you for watching this video. I will be joining the premiere of my weekly vlog tomorrow. That's 12 a.m. British time, literally about 25 hours from now, from this point of being live. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you're having problems with notifications, maybe unclick the bell and try double clicking it. People have said that that works, so do try that. So join me next week live at 10 o'clock British time, which is GMT. So from me in Shropshire, goodbye.